Happy 2023, everybody. All in crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for your first but very important video of 2023. The date today is the 1st of January, and I'm going to be publishing, and this is going to be it, a nice and uplifting video in regards to the blockchain space. What an insane year 2022 has been. Whether it was the Luna fiasco, whether it was FTX, or anything that's happened in between. It's been a crazy year. It's been a year of revelation. It's been a year of learning for me. It's been a year of having to be a profitable trader and investor at a time where everything's going down. And how we've done this from an investment point of view, and anybody that's interested in my Discord, there's a link in the description, or my Patreon, I should say, sorry, is we've stayed in stable coins for the majority of the year. And we've also day traded. Now, we had a bad couple of months to end the year off, but generally over the total of the year, our trading account is up. So something I'm very proud of is to have actually been profitable as a trader this year, when the majority of the market is down substantially. You know, altcoins are down 90+%. And from an investment point of view, we've actually protected and hedged our capital quite well in the form of stable coins, certainly dollar denominated stable coins. You know, the dollar's had a bit of a pullback, but we'll see how this year starts. We've got a lot coming for this channel. It's my goal that in 2023, this is going to become one of the leading YouTube channels out there for the cryptocurrency market, certainly within the UK. It's very ambitious, but I believe that I offer a lot more than the majority of people out there. And there's a big difference between me and a lot of the big crypto YouTubers, and that is that I am an active trader and investor, and this is the career path that I have now fully committed and have been for the past 4 years to taking. So what I want to do is, despite all the negativity that happened last year, it's 2023, guys. It's a year of opportunities. In fact, I do believe that 2023 could be the year where we dip our toes back into the cryptocurrency market and essentially set ourselves all up for life-changing investments to come into the future. And what I want to do in this video is I want to play you some clips from Larry Fink talking about blockchain and the industry, from one of the heads of the Bank of England, from the World Economic Forum, and from, of course, the ECB, Christine Lagarde, all talking about blockchain and how it's going to integrate itself into the traditional financial system. This has always been the theme of this channel, is that blockchain is the future, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to demonstrate it in this video. A nice, cheery, uplifting video to let you all know that there are 1,000,001 reasons to be excited in the crypto space, regardless of everything that happened last year and regardless of the price action, because fundamentally, this space continues to evolve, continues to get adopted by the majority of governments around the world. We actually are going to play a clip from the World Economic Forum panel, where they spoke about 90+% of central banks and banks are actually looking at blockchain. And some of them are already 3 years into developing what they plan on being tomorrow's financial payment system. So without further ado, guys, I hope you all have a prosperous and happy 2023. Stick around. If this is your first time finding the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you can do me a favor, guys, and share this video about, spread a little bit of joy, spread a little bit of the future with people, that would be greatly appreciated. And of course, a like and a comment is always appreciated. I'm going to love and leave you guys. Let's get into some clips, and then we'll give an opening or a closing statement at the end of the video.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger, that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem. You don't need trust banks.
But does that disrupt you eventually? Because you are custodying all of these assets.
No, we're not a custodian. We're not, we use third-party custodians in everything we do.
In everything you do.
We're not a custodian bank.
So your goal, by the way, I don't think that he was technically a custodian either, which is a separate issue.
I think they were. I don't know if there was a real custodian in that closed ledger, but that's a whole other story. You should ask him that question. No, I mean, the transformation, think about it, instantaneous settlement, bonds and stocks. No middlemen. We're going to bring down fees even more dramatically. As for me, I don't have to vote on any shares anymore because the beneficial owner will do all the voting. They'll have it.
And that's where I want to go with this conversation.
Danger in bringing it into the main. If you regulate, people will be more likely to invest, and there's a risk of infecting the system again with something that people don't understand and has the power to really undermine financial stability.
Well, I think it depends on two things. One, it depends on what the it is. So we talk about crypto and most people think of Bitcoin, but that's just one use for some of these technologies around encryption, tokenization, smart algorithmic contracts. So there could be uses that we want to bring in actually to the financial system where we could see benefits from that side. But the second point, I think, is we would need to regulate to ensure that we get the same level of protection, the same level of resilience as we would have normally. Now, before the crypto winter of last year and the FTX implosion this year, I think a number of established financial players, investment funds, banks, were thinking of getting involved, offering services, custody, market making, and the like. And we need to make sure that if that is to happen, then the standards are correct. So I don't think it will be possible to say this can be just kept outside of the financial system. It's too dangerous. I think it is difficult but possible to say let us bring it in where and when we think we can manage the risk to the standards we're used to.
And make it safe. And the third point there is the potential of this technology. Just give us a snapshot of what people have promised the Earth with blockchain, but what do you see as the potential?
Okay, so make clear this is not just about blockchain and it's not just about distributed ledger. There's, as you often see with technological change, it's a number of different technologies coming together. I could give you a very real world example for those people who've bought a house. When you buy a house, you have to transfer the funds from your bank to your solicitor. The solicitor keeps the funds, the solicitor on the other side gets the title, and when the conditions of the contract are ready, the two solicitors agree and exchange the title to the house for the money. And you need those two trusted intermediaries to do that because clearly those two things have to happen simultaneously. If you can find a way to make a digital tokenized, as it said, representation of the title of the house and a tokenized representation of the money, and you can create a contract that can't be interfered with that says when certain conditions are met, those two things will happen automatically, then we take out, if you like, a whole area of delay, activity, cost in the chain. And you could think about that for share trading. You could think about that for trading of bonds. These so-called smart contracts in which the thing being sold and the money which is buying it, or the swap of two different things, is automated in a way that it can't be interfered with and can happen instantaneously, could take out a lot of delay, a lot of cost, potentially, and I stress potentially because these things have not been tried at scale within a regulated framework, potentially could take out some of the risks in the system.
And you on social if you're sharing #WEF22. Now, if there's one thing, and it might be the only thing up for debate that I think financial sector participants agree on at this moment is whether you're bank, regulator, consumer, business, is that the current system can be more efficient. It can be more inclusive and it can be fairer. The big question is, how do we achieve that? And there are many ways of going about it. What if I told you 90% now of the world's central banks say they're investigating central bank digital coins, whether pushed by the private sector, and I see some faces that I recognize in the audience, or working with the private sector, let's be clear. I think we all recognize that technology like central bank digital coins have the potential to reshape the financial system and revolutionize payments. Now, some central banks started years ago, and they're represented on this fantastic panel. They're also providing lessons, I think, and challenges to other central banks. The question is, what do we need to know? What are the macroeconomic, the geopolitical consequences? What are the benefits, but also the challenges of rollout? Data privacy, security, scalability, just to name a few. At the heart of any currency, how do we ensure trust, particularly given the great turbulence we see across financial markets, but specifically in private crypto markets today, and how new this concept is? We have to get it right first time. It has to be a benefit to users, but also minimize financial security and financial stability risks. I don't ask much.
Look, what kind of threat does this pose to the traditional banking system?
Well, I think it's, you have incumbents, the banks, commercial banks, and you have the disruptors. And clearly the disruptors are having an impact on the incumbents. We just heard a very large systemic bank here saying that they're launching their digital coin, currently piloted in a way within the institutional clients, but to be scaled beyond that. We heard from the European Central Bank that they have launched in November something that is called TIPS, that enables all the banks in the Eurozone to actually transfer instantly at virtually no cost money between them. So I think that the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto, assets, currencies, or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago, that is clearly shaking the system. The voice that we heard, which was, I thought, really interesting, were those of the regulators and central bank governors who said, well, yes, this is good and this is helpful, and it is changing the business model of commercial banks. But we have to be mindful of two things: trust and stability of the system. And we are equally concerned, we at the IMF, about stability. We don't want innovation that would shake the system so much that we would lose the stability that is needed.
And our
So we've just gone over a few clips that I found really interesting. You know, this is supposed to be a way of getting you guys excited for the future, or as excited as I am. Certainly being somebody who's involved in the blockchain space, has become a bit of an ambassador for it, and somebody who has a very positive and bright outlook on it. We looked at Larry Fink's comments talking about the tokenization of everything. This is going to be done via blockchain, instant settlements, so on and so forth. The second half of his interview there, he was talking about governance and how this is going to actually be such an important part of the blockchain industry, which I align with. We also looked at some comments from the Bank of England talking about the integration of blockchain and crypto with the traditional financial system. This is coming from the largest bank, you know, the central bank in England. We've seen comments from the Fed that mirror and echo a similar message. We've also looked at a clip from one of the opening panels, or one of the opening statements at one of the World Economic Forum panels surrounding CBDCs, and looking at how central banks, 90+% of central banks and banks in general, are looking at integrating blockchain in some way, shape or other. And some of them are actually already doing it to the tune of potentially you know, have been doing it for 3 years plus now. And then we looked at some comments from Christine Lagarde, who of course is the ECB, European Central Bank chair, essentially talking about, you know, allowing this innovation and again, emerging of blockchain technology with the traditional financial system. You know, just as another comment before I read the final article, and I could have thrown in so many different speakers, but these were some that really stood out to me. You know, we know that the Bank of International Settlements, which is kind of how central banks around the world transact with one another, you know, they are the kind of overseers of this, recently did a report where they said they were missing 80 trillion roughly in dollar-denominated debt that just simply didn't register, or that they weren't quite sure about, and they didn't know the full scale of how much dollar-denominated debt was out there. Well, if everything was ran on a blockchain, which is the way it's going to be, you know, we recently had Vladimir Putin call for an international payment system that isn't controlled by any one entity. You know, he's referring to blockchain. You know, this is kind of the future that we're moving towards. And if blockchain ran the sort of global system of finance, of assets, you know, we're going to dive into this Wells Fargo article again. We've covered it quite a few times on the channel this year, but it's so important because it really summarizes the Internet of Value and what's going on here with blockchain and how, tomorrow's financial world is going to look. If blockchain had ran the system, we wouldn't have missing pieces here, there, and everywhere, and there'd be a lot more accountability, a lot more sort of trust, which was a theme that they'd all echoed, security and scalability in the world's financial landscape. So I just want to finish on this, guys. This, of course, was an article. We covered this in a lot of detail. We covered it a number of times. We covered it when it first came out in August this year, and we've covered it a number of other times because it's so important. Wells Fargo, I think, is the third or fourth largest bank in the United States. And they wrote a report called Digital Assets, A World of Possibilities. And we'll just read some of the key takeaways, and then I'm going to read a quick chapter that was very interesting to me. And some of the key takeaways were many expect digital assets to be the building blocks of a new internet, the Internet of Value. The Internet of Value will move forms of value around the globe, such as money, financial assets, and other personal valuables. The Internet of Value is likely to disrupt the world of finance, just as the original internet was to the communications and information industry. And I really believe in this, and it goes on to talk about these two forms of the internet. And this is the paragraph that I want to read before I love and leave you. And it goes on to read: we believe digital assets are a transformative innovation on par with the internet, cars, and electricity. Oddly, they may be one of the easier transformative innovations to grasp at this early stage. The reason being is that we have a present comparable, the internet. And it goes on to talk about, this is the current internet, and this is the internet of value. And it goes on to talk about, digital assets and how this is all going to interact with everything, and how the infrastructure of tomorrow, this is the internet of value: video, pictures, and text, money, loans, and securities. Very much in line with what Larry Fink's BlackRock is saying. We know BlackRock have partners with Coinbase. Guys, it is a great time to be alive if you are willing to take an opportunity and invest in the future. Then I think you're going to do very, very well from it. But that's not financial advice. On that note, guys, I am going to love and leave you. For anybody looking to get serious with their crypto investing, look at portfolio management, look at altcoins that we think are going to do very well, a little bit of trading here and there. Feel free to join my Discord. The top tier is £30 a month, and in my opinion, it is well worth it. And it's really for serious people that are serious about the crypto space and really want to nail what they are and aren't buying and look for the biggest opportunities that present themselves within the space. So if that interests you, there's a link in the description. Guys, let's have a fantastic 2023. I know we're all going to kill it. Certainly the subscribers of this channel. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if you've enjoyed this video, a like and a comment and a share. Get this video out to as many people as possible is always greatly appreciated. I'm going to love and leave you on that note, guys. Let's smash 2023.